Everybody, Mike Davenport, Louisville's Chevy Dude here with the, kind of a goofy week. It's Wednesday as I'm shooting this, so hopefully I get it up on time to the vlog to be relevant. I got that Ford truck back there I sold earlier in the week, and it has a cracked windshield that I got. What is that? Oh my God. Look at that. How the hell do I get a scratch above the door handle? Who did that? Oh man, I have to fix that. Well, that's one thing I have to fix. That guy likes Duke. He's a horrible human being that likes Duke. Horrible. You hear me? He just shakes his head yes. So, hey, I sold this truck earlier in the day, and I thought about this for the vlog. By the way, that's Chris. I think I've had him on a couple Snapchats, vlogs, stuff like that. Great friend of mine, but I tease the hell out of him every single day. So I wanted to kind of point this out because I thought it was pretty interesting. I've talked about this before, about the way car dealerships treat people and stuff like that. And the fact of it is that many car dealerships, once you leave the building with your new vehicle that you've purchased, you're kind of like SOL. If something happens, they're gonna usually come back and say, did you buy the warranty? Oh, you didn't buy the warranty. This will be covered if you bought the warranty. That's just kind of a lame excuse and a lame cop-out answer to sit there and not take responsibility. So I sold this 2008 F250, really cool vehicle, gas engine, 5.4 liter. So now it had a couple issues with it, but the customer knew about this mirror. Extremely expensive mirror on an F250. So if you break one of those, $1,400 retail unit. So $1,400 just for this one mirror. That's dealer cost, by the way, too. So but we had discounted the vehicle up front to take care of that because we didn't want to replace it, because there's a lot of people out there who can find much cheaper. So if you look at our cars, we typically have a year up in this area, and then over here we have the pricing on our cars and the federal mandated buyer's guide that says sold as is or sold with a warranty or whatever the case may be. What we didn't notice, and the customer called me about 3 hours later, is this nice little, I don't know if you can see it, it's right there. I can't see it on my camera, but hopefully you can pull it pulls up on the screen. Solid, and we obviously didn't know about it. And so the customer calls me and says, hey Mike, I've got a problem. I just found that, actually the customer's wife called me, amazing lady, and they're like, hey, we found this crack in the windshield. And she told me where it was at. Hello, that thing's got a little cam in it. So she told me about it, and I said, hey, let's bring it in, let me look at it, and we'll get it figured out. I look at it, I already asked my lot guy who puts the stickers on the cars because he would remember that crack. He said the crack was there. So the customer came in, I looked at it 10 seconds, not even 10 seconds, I looked at it for like a second and a half, and I said, okay, no problem, we'll fix it for you. And so the car is here getting a new windshield. So that's a true testament of how professional car people will take care of their customers. I did not know about that windshield. I could have very easily said, tough luck, you didn't catch it before you left here, it's your problem. And in Kentucky, your windshield is covered under your full coverage insurance at no cost and no deductible. No cost to you, of course, cost to the insurance company. So let me go get this scratch figured out on my car and show you how to get scratches out of cars. So I should be able to get that out with no problem, and we'll finish the vlog. But before I do any of that stuff, the hair is not really on point today because it is haircut day. So I'm headed to the salon. Yes, I said salon, to get the old haircut. Back from getting the hair all done. Whoop whoop, that looks much better. And the boys are out here taking the windshield out already. They're fast, I'm telling you, they're really fast. And these are the best guys in Louisville to do glass replacement. So, net local guys, known them for a while. They've already got it out. Just throw it on the ground and leave it there. This is the way to drive a car right here, right? No window?
Yeah, just watch out for this one.
Yeah, exactly. There's the new glass. Steve's a professional window cleaner.
Yeah.
Come over to my house after you're done, bub.
Yeah, I've never heard that before. Just like I've never heard. And that's the cleanest windshield I've ever seen right there.
It's clean, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Once again.
There you go, the windshield's in the Ford. My customer will be happy, and I'm happy because I always use Auto Glass of Louisville. So if you're here in Louisville, make sure you use these guys because they're awesome. They do a great job, and you can call them, but I don't want to say anything outside of their business, but I do believe they'll come right to your door and have it happen. So make sure you use Auto Glass of Louisville. After a closer inspection of this, I have found out that this is a pretty deep scratch into my clear coat. I don't think it's into the paint, but I'm going to use a couple techniques to get this out. And I will tell everybody, I'm not a professional detailer. I don't do this every day. I'm using terminology that I've been taught over the years. For God's sakes, if I say grain of paint on a video, what'll happen there? But so I'm going to use some terminology on here and kind of show you what I'm doing. I'm going to use 3M standard stuff. So I'm going to use a white compound, which is kind of like getting in there, getting real deep into it, buffing it up. I'm going to use a step 2 compound. This is the step 1. And then I'm probably going to end up sanding the paint. So I'm going to use a 2000 grit, and I have a 3000 grit sandpaper up here. But I'm going to try to buff it first and see if I can get that out with buffing it and then go from there. You want to, number one, make sure your pads are clean. So I'm going to use a kind of an intermediate black cutting wheel. You can kind of cut with this paint, and you can also polish with this depending on which wax you put on. The blue is more of a polishing one there, but you want to make sure that you are really careful with this because you can really mess up the car's finish by doing that. And I'm going to start out actually by mixing step 1 and step 2 together, and then if I feel that I need to get in there and be more aggressive with it, if I need to get the sandpaper out, that I can do that. So you'll see I'll throw a little bit of step 2 on there, mix it in there with step 1 if it comes out. So I'll get a little bit of 1 in there, and that'll cut. I'm gonna put a little bit more on there, and then I'll put a little bit of grit in there and stuff like that. I'm using a DeWalt sanding, and I'll probably get this up to right about 1300 RPM. And to get this in there, you can see I'll mix that up a little bit. So get it about 1300 RPM, and this will put a really good cut on it. Not putting much pressure on it. I'm putting a little bit on it, but not much at all. So you want to make sure you don't heat this paint up. You don't want to burn the paint, all that good stuff. It actually looks really good on here. See the camera. So if we look at this, it actually is almost gone completely. So there's just a little bit there. It's kind of tough to see. It is right, if Dylan gets out of the light, it's right there. So I may not do much more than that. But you know what? For the sake of YouTube, I am going to sand that just a little bit. I'm going to use the 3000 grit paper, and I'm going to get that off. So when you're wet sanding, I'm going to use the 3000 grit because I don't think I really need much on there. Mixing that 2 compounds together actually did it. So the key to wet sanding is make sure that this is completely 100% lubed up, if you want to call it that, just liquefied. I'm just using a detail dressing, a quick detailer, if you will. You can use water if you need to, but really, you're just going to get in there and just sand. So what's going to happen when we get done sanding here is the paint's going to look messed up, because we are in fact sanding on this. And there was a couple scratches down here that you couldn't see, and that's really why I decided to sand the paint and get some of these imperfections off right here. And you'll see a lot of imperfections around the door handle, just for the simple fact that that's where you're always putting your hands. You could have a key in your hand. I may have done this. A valet driver may have done it. Who knows? The guy holding the camera may have done it. So who knows? But you'll see now that paint is all dulled up. You can kind of see the difference there. You can kind of see the difference right up here. You can see it's down there. That's everywhere that I sand. So, and I can't rub that off. So I'm gonna do the exact same thing. I'm gonna come in here with some mix of a 3 or step 1 and step 2, and that's gonna probably finish that up, and then I'll get that all out of there, and then I'll come in with a step 3 and get that step 3, and that'll make this look just like the rest of this paint down here. See that I got the step 2 and the step 3 on there. You can see the gray and the white, and I used a little bit more step 2 on there, or excuse me, step 1 and step 2. I said step 2 and step 3, but step 1 in the white, step 2 there. I put a little bit more on there, and again, I'm just going to kind of mix that all up, get that wheel again about 1300 RPM. Putting just a little bit of pressure on there, not much. Again, kind of moving it around, that way I don't heat up the paint, ruin my paint, because this is all on me. There's nobody to fall back on, like a company or anything like that says, hey, you messed up my paint, you got to fix it. This is Mike Davenport's checkbook if I mess this up. So we'll wipe that off again, and man, I'll tell you what, it looks pretty good. So look at that. That's like brand new paint right there. So did a little bit, I had some scuffs up here, like I said, that you really couldn't see on camera, and that looks brand new. So now I'll come in here with a step 3, and that paint is a little warm right there, so I'll let it cool here for a second, and use some step 3, put the shine back on there, and be good to go. I have the blue cutting wheel on here, and it's not really a cutting wheel, it's a polishing wheel, and again, this is just to polish that up, to get that. This is step 3. You can see it's a blue color, and again, I mentioned it earlier, this is just this typical 3-step process that 3M makes. It's a great polish. There's really no difference between polish if you're buying the other big brand name stores that are twice as much as 3M. It's all the same stuff. It's all going to do the same effort. It's going to stay on the car as long as possible. And if you've done any type of ceramic coating or Xylon, I have now since take that off, so I'll have to redo my Xylon on here. And again, I'm going to go down to about 600 RPM on here. Is where I'm going to nail this into, because you don't need a fast buffing wheel on here, because we're just polishing right now. So it's kind of like taking wax off. You just put it on and then just real wipe it off, and that's kind of what I'm doing here. And I'm only going to do somewhere in the neighborhood of about half RPM of that 600 of a half trigger pull. So my whole idea is just to polish this up, make it look good, make sure there's no swirls in it, no halo marks, and it's good as new. So there you go. This is as good as new. I mean, this is probably better than new. It's not warm to the touch because I slowed down that RPM. It's really nice to the touch. So now I'll re-Xylon this portion of the car, re-ceramic coat the car, and you're good to go at that point. Well, as I'm over here and I'm doing that side, somebody comes up to me and says, hey, did you see the scratch over here? And I said, yes, I did know about it, because I thought they were talking about this one right here. And I think I did that in the garage or something, I don't know, but they were really talking about this one here. This one is deep. This one is through the paint down to the metal. So let me show you how I'm going to take care of that as well. I'm just going to use this little fine brush, and this little brush comes also in the GM paint that you can get at the factory or from the dealership. So it's the same stuff there, and it's going to be the same technique that I use here as well. So this is my blue touch-up, and really you're just using a little bit of it. You're not putting much on. Hopefully you can see that. You're not putting much on, and it's really like gentle touches. So I usually start from the back here, and one thing I always do is I keep a rag with me because I'm bound to mess up and I'm bound to glob it, so I can just take it right off. So this is a really fine brush, and it'll be a perfect touch-up here. You really don't need to worry about clear coat because there's clear coat built into the paint touch-up, and it'll be fine, just this little itty-bitty area. And like I said, I'm gonna, after this dries and cures, I'm going to re-ceramic coat it, which is I use Xylon. I'm gonna put that stuff on it and it'll be perfect. So again, there's that touch-up there as well, and it's a perfect touch-up. So there you have it. I fixed my paint touch-up, had a little bit of extra other fun in my vlog today, and as you know in my past videos, I take really good care of my customers' cars. I make sure that they are primo condition when you get them, when they leave here, and this is the type of things that I look for. And if it's something I gotta fix, number one, all these guys here are capable of doing it, but I like to do things myself as well. I like knowing how to do things. I like to kind of know a lot about everything in my sector of the car business, so I try to make sure that I understand how to buff and how to do that stuff, because this is definitely a technique. It's not something you can just pick up and do. I know my limits. Don't ask me to buff a black car. I will put halo marks in that thing as soon as possible, so or as quick as possible. So I don't really buff on black cars. Blue, white, all that other color works great. So again, hey, thanks for watching. Look forward to seeing you on the next vlog, and I will have 20,000 subscribers on the next vlog. So thanks again for watching. Everybody have a great day and drive safely.